Hey everyone, let's jump right into this explainer. Today we're unpacking a really fascinating passage from the Bible, specifically Matthew 12:38 through 50, titled, "Whoever does God's will is my family." We're going to dive deep into the powerful intersection of divine obedience, God's sovereign grace, and what it actually means to be part of his true family.
Now, right out of the gate, Jesus completely flips the script on relationships. In Matthew 12:50, he says, "For whoever does the will of my Father in heaven is my brother and sister and mother." From a Reformed theology standpoint, this is absolutely huge. It tells us that active obedience isn't some checklist we use to earn our way into the family. No, it's actually the visible, undeniable proof that God's grace has already drawn us in.
So here's our roadmap for this explainer. We'll start with the big picture, look at the historical context and the demand for signs, compare earthly versus spiritual family, walk through a step-by-step application, and wrap it all up with the final conclusion.
All right, Section 1, the big picture. Let's summarize the key findings.
So, here's the deal. God's kingdom completely defies human expectations. We naturally assume belonging is based on, earthly status, or how close you are to someone physically. But true belonging is actually marked by a deep, God-given trust and a life of obedience. It's really not about your bloodline, it's all about a transformed heart.
Moving on to Section 2, historical context and signs.
To really get this, we have to look at what was happening historically. The religious leaders, the Pharisees, came to Jesus demanding immediate, undeniable proof of who he was. But here's the kicker. Their hearts were completely hardened. They essentially wanted a customized miracle on demand, totally missing the absolute truth standing literally right in front of them. It sets up this wild contrast. On one side, you've got the Pharisees demanding physical proof, but flat out refusing to believe. But on the other side, Jesus points to the people of Nineveh, who repented with way less evidence. It just goes to show that true, saving faith doesn't demand an endless supply of customized proof.
Jesus basically tells them, look, the only sign you're getting is the sign of Jonah. Just like Jonah was in the fish for 3 days, Christ will die and rise again. The empty tomb is the ultimate sovereign proof. We really don't need to demand more evidence when he's already accomplished the greatest miracle in history.
Which brings us to Section 3, earthly versus spiritual family.
Picture this. While Jesus is teaching, his earthly family comes looking for him. Now, in that culture, blood ties were absolutely everything. But Jesus surprises everyone. He completely expands the definition of family, making it clear that his true family is made up of those who are empowered by him to do God's will. When you compare the two theories of family here, earthly families are defined by physical relations, proximity, status, stuff like that. But the spiritual family, that's defined by active obedience to God. Being in his family is so much more than just a passing intellectual belief. It visibly alters how you live your daily life as a direct reflection of his grace.
All right, let's get practical with Section 4, step-by-step application.
Let's break this down into a step-by-step process, especially for those of you navigating life as college students right now. Step 1, stop waiting for absolute proof or a burning bush to trust God with your major or your future career. Step 2, take a hard look and ask yourself where academic pressures are causing you to hold back trust. And Step 3, let the historical reality of the resurrection be the anchor that strengthens your faith right there in the classroom.
Continuing that process, Step 1 on this front is to actively thank God for the people supporting your faith journey on campus. Step 2, ensure your faith is actually active, not just some comfortable label you wear when it's convenient. And Step 3, stay deeply connected to a Christian community or campus ministry. Because let's be real, in a challenging academic environment, that spiritual family is going to be your absolute truest support system. And finally, Section 5, final conclusion.
So, if you take nothing else away from this explainer, remember this ultimate takeaway. Following Jesus is about doing the Father's will and trusting him without constantly demanding more proof. We belong in God's family not because we earned it, but because his grace empowers us to live an obedient, trusting life. I want to leave you with a really challenging question today. Are you constantly waiting for more proof before you trust God? Or are you actually living in a way that truly reflects doing his will? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive into Matthew 12, and I'll catch you on the next explainer.